Seattle Mariners Baseball on Road Sports is brought to you by your local Ford store, by the Emerald Queen Casino. Welcome back. Seattle Mariners Baseball on Road Sports is brought to you by your local Ford store, by the Emerald Queen Casino, presenting Life Jennings July 18th. Tickets at emeraldqueen.com. By Alaska Airlines. Enjoy free entertainment on your personal device. Learn more at alaskaair.com. And by Safeco Insurance. Find a local agent at safeco.com. Do more. Felix Hernandez is getting ready to climb the hill. He is just 5-0 with a 1.69 ERA in 9 starts at Safeco Field. Feel better that this skid is over? His 1.95 ERA against the Rays, the lowest by any pitcher against them. Hadn't allowed a run over his last 16 innings against the Rays. Are you starting to feel better? I am. First pitch is up next.
Nice warm night here in Seattle, and the Mariners are looking to go in the right direction as in ending this 7-game losing streak. Welcome, everybody. Beautiful night for baseball this Saturday. Mariners and the Rays, game 3 of this 4-game series. And moments ago, Mariners skipper Lloyd McClendon brought out the lineup card. They had a measure of success on the road, winning 3 straight when he did it. Maybe it'll start over again. Here's what was on that lineup card.
Here's a look at the Tampa Bay Rays lineup. Kevin Kiermaier leading off, followed by Joey Butler, David DeJesus, Logan Forsythe, the guy who hit the home run last night, Steven Souza Jr., Asdrubal Cabrera, Jake Elmore, Nick Franklin, and Rene Rivera behind the plate. Felix Hernandez this season, he has 11 starts. He's 8-2 with a 2.63 ERA. 20 walks versus 75 strikeouts, giving up 8 home runs, and opponents are hitting only .205 against the King.
Good to have you with us here, Mariner Baseball. Dave Sims, Dave Valley. Val in for Mike Blowers, who has the weekend off, and we are ready to go. Kevin Kiermaier, the center fielder, against Felix Hernandez. First pitch fouled off. Felix with a sparkling record against Tampa Bay. Overall 6-2 with a 1.95 ERA in 14 games at Safeco Field in 9 starts. 5-0 with a 1.69. 82 degrees here in Seattle. Swing and a miss. Well, we got the King's Court and we got the High Court. Double duty tonight. Here comes the 0-2 pitch. Outside for ball 1.
It's a great look to see the High Court up there in the upper deck. Out there by the lookout landing. Great view from up top there.
Yes, indeed. They're ready to rock tonight. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Breaking ball missed. 2-2. Doug Eddings. He's a crew chief. He's at first base. Jim Wolf at second. Adrian Johnson at third. And that's John Tupain. Tupain is the home plate umpire tonight. Here's the 2-2 pitch coming up from Felix. And off the glove of Zunino. They're struggling to score runs, David. Right now in this game tonight, you're looking for Felix to bounce back. Felix to hold the fort against Tampa Bay, a team that he's dominated against, and just get good feeling back offensively for this ball club. 2-2. 3-2. Kiermaier, the leadoff man, seeing a lot of pitches, making Felix work.
Felix trying to backdoor that curveball on the outer half. It's just not having that real sharp break. Staying off the plate.
Here's a pitch, and he walked him.
Here's a look at the American Family Insurance defensive setup for the Mariners. Out in the outfield, Seth Smith, Austin Jackson, and Nelson Cruz in the outfield. Around the infield, Kyle Seager, Willie Bloomquist at short tonight, Robinson Cano, Logan Morrison, and Mike Zunino behind the dish.
Felix in his last start here. Safeco Field. It wasn't a good one after the first three innings in which he was perfect. It started to rain, as you might remember. Roof in closing. They played on. He had it to do over again. He might delay and walk off the mound and let him fix it and then come back once the roof is closed. He didn't and wound up having traction problems. Pineda didn't have traction problems. Felix wound up going 4 2/3, 6. Hit 7 runs, all earned, 5 walks and 4 Ks. Tough hitter here, Joey Butler. Runner goes, throw down to second. Not in time. Stolen base, Kiermaier, his 3rd of the season.
Kiermaier with a very good jump over there at first base. He's got good speed. We've seen him roam the outfield and center. Kiermaier coming in head first. Robbie Cano having to leave his feet to get that high throw from Mike Zunino.
He did go, so strike to Butler. 1-2. Butler 3 for 6 in this series, 1 for 3 with a double. Left center field last night in the 6th. Rays win it 1-0. That was a tough loss. Rodney giving up a home run to Forsythe leading off the 9th, and then the Mariners the lead runner to 3rd and can't score him. Swing and a miss. First strikeout of the night for Felix.
Another good back-to-back changeup right there to get Butler swinging and missing. Watch the movement as this ball comes off the hands of Felix. The ball just sinking down and in and ends up off the plate. But at that point, Butler had already committed.
1 out, 1 on. Brings up David DeJesus, the left fielder, and of all the Rays, he has batted against Felix the most. 13 for 39, a homer, 5 runs batted in, 3 walks and 6 Ks. 333 clip. Strike 1 to David. Jesus pinch hit in last night's game. Flied out to left. comes the 0-1. Up high. Jesus has seen a lot of Mariner pitching over the years. 268 career hitter against Seattle pitching. Runner takes off for third. Throw to third. It is in time. Got him. Caught stealing. 2-5. 2 away here in the first.
Saw Kiermaier kind of hopping off to second base, but Zunino with a quick snap throw. And a good tag right there from Kyle Seager. The throw a little bit off the bag, but Seager drops his tag straight down. Looks like there's a good chance that may be overturned.
I'm going to take a look at it. Adrian Johnson, the third base umpire.
And left hand looks like he gets to the bag just before the glove touches Kiermaier's left arm. We've seen Tampa Bay try to use their speed on the base pass. Fourth best in stolen bases in the league.
It's like by the time he got him on the... Yeah, he's in there.
You can see the bag move right there as the force pushes against it.
Kevin Cash, first-year manager for the Rays, took over for Joe Madden. Found an out in his contract and vacated and went to Chicago.
Here's one more look at it. Watch the bag. The force of Kiermaier sliding in. You'll see the top left of the bag start to kind of be pushed. Right there as his fingers touch it. But with the Alaska Supermo, it sure comes down to, we talked about this being a game of inches. You see plays like that almost on a nightly basis.
So 2 stolen bases for Kevin Kiermaier. 1 out, 2-1 count to DeJesus. Things have been going here, and they want to cut this run off early. Infield moves up close, swing and a miss.
Another good changeup by Felix. This season, Dave, when Felix throws his changeup, 57% of the time he gets a swing and a miss. Opponents are hitting only 0.97 against the change.
Wow. Felix in some first inning difficulties with Kiermaier. A couple of stolen bases, gives him 4 in the season. Now 2-2 to DeJesus with 1 out. Drawn in infield, pitch up high, full count.
And Dave, just to give you an idea what the league average is. Okay, we talked 57% swing and miss on the change. For the league, it's 39%, so he's about 27% better. 53% of the time. Well, I'm sorry, the average is 195 versus Felix's 0.97.
3-2 pitch. Walked him. 2 walks in the inning. The first 3 men. Wow. We are unaccustomed to seeing this. Going into that last game on Monday, June 1, Felix had walked 8 guys in his previous appearances, walked 5 in that one, and here he is in this game walking 2 of the first 3 men that he's faced.
He'll have to keep an eye on David DeJesus, guy with good speed over on first base. We've already seen Cash put this game in motion here early.
Here's Logan Forsythe, hero for the Rays last night. He looks at his strike. Leading off the 9th inning last night, 2-1 pitch from Fernando Rodney, and he left the yard. 7th home run, 25th RBI, and they made it stand up. Rays won it 1-0.
That was a heartbreaker.
Oh. Line drive, Willie Bloomquist there. Runners are back safely. 2 down.
Nice job right there by Willie, timing that jump and snaring that line drive, which would have scored a run.
It is uncharacteristic to see Felix at this stage of the first inning. This will be pitch number 20 coming up to Steven Souza Jr., the right fielder from Everett, Washington, 0 for 4 last night. He gambled last night on the Austin Jackson drive to the gap. Got by he and Kiermaier for a triple. Swing and a miss. Mariners had life. Man on in the leading off the home ninth, but then a strikeout, a foul out, a fly out, and that's how the game ended. On 1. Breaking ball, swing and a miss.
Good curveball from Felix at 83 miles an hour. Got Souza out on that front foot. He's throwing a changeup. He's throwing a curveball. He's got 4 to choose from. All 4 good.
That they are. Outside.
Felix trying to get out of this game, this inning, unscathed after walking those first 2 guys.
Felix starting the day. 5th in the American League in strikeouts. The 1-2 pitch. Taken down low.
Another changeup from Felix Souza. Big, strong young man from Everett, able to hold that bat back.
2 outs and a 2-2 count with 2 on. Pitch, runner goes. Strike 3 called, got him. 24 pitches for Felix in the inning. Had to labor, did walk 2, but survives a 2-on scare as the Mariners come to bat when we return. The Kings Court in session. Turkey leg honors to that youngster.
Take a rip out of that young man. Oh, look at that cut.
Hey, you showed me something with the 34 with a haircut. Well done,
Chef Jeremy. And just judging by the face of the folks here, enjoying that taste. But here's a look at the Mariners lineup this evening. Austin Jackson leading off, followed by Robbie Cano, Nelson Cruz, Kyle Seager in the cleanup spot, followed Mark Trumbo, Seth Smith, Logan Morrison, Willie Bloomquist, and Mike Zunino. On the mound for the Rays, Alex Colomé. He has appeared in 7 games this season, 7 starts with a 3-2 record and a 5.05 ERA, 27 strikeouts and 8 walks. Opponents hitting .294.
Saw Colomé last week, May 26th. Went 5 1/3, no decision. Game that the Mariners eventually won. Dave, if you got a lot of stories, this is a good night to break them out because this is one of the slowest workers in the American League.
No Mark Burley here?
No, sir. Other end of the spectrum is Jackson looks at a strike 1-1. According to the folks with the Rays, about 26 seconds between each pitch.
That's not good.
So you can set it up, pay it off, and tell it and move to your second story. Fly ball center field for Kiermaier. And there's one away.
And here's a look at the American Family Insurance defensive setup for the Tampa Bay Rays. David DeJesus, Kevin Kiermaier, and Steven Souza Jr. in the outfield. Around the infield, Jake Elmore, Asdrubal Cabrera, Logan Forsythe, Nick Franklin, the former Mariner, at first base, and the former Mariner also behind the dish tonight, Rene Rivera. He does have a very unusual windup. He kind of starts and stops 3 or 4 different times before delivering the ball to his catcher. Of the 26 seconds, that windup takes about 7.
Here's Robinson Cano, the face Colomé. Get a good look at how he loads up in his windup.
There's he starts. Whoop. Steps off.
Here's the 0-1 to Robbie. Tough night for Cano last night. 0 for 4, left 6 men stranded, 3 ground outs to the first baseman Jake Elmore. Left the bases loaded in the 7th inning.
Robbie had a couple of multi-hit games down in Tampa against the Rays.
Hit down to third. Here's Elmore, versatile player. Playing first base last night, third tonight. And there's 2 away. So that's 4 of the last 5 times that Cano's been at the plate. He's grounded out to Jake Elmore.
Last night he was over at first base. This time going after a pitch up and away.
But McClendon, full faith that Robinson Cano will get things figured out. And a slump going right now, to be sure. Here's Cruz, who's been steady as she goes. Last night, Nelly 2 for 4. Singles in the 1st and 8th inning. 4th in batting, still leads in home runs, total bases, slugging. An outstanding year. 1-0. 1 for 5 from against Colomé. He's at a Santo Domingo in the Dominican Republic. Lives in San Pedro de Macorís.
San Pedro de Macorís, the land of the shortstops.
Fastball for strike 2-1.
Nelly Cruz still sits atop the AL home run leaders.
Three and 1. Colomé lost in his last outing at the Angels. No decision against the Mariners in the start before that, and then 3 starts ago he beat Oakland, going 5 innings, giving up 4 runs and no hits.
And there, Rivera having a little change of gloves there. He probably must have had the leather string snap in the webbing. Catchers always have a game-ready backup.
How many did you go through during the course of a year?
I would go through 2 games. Wow. Took care of it, though. The only time I used my gamer was in the game. I never used it for practice, never played catch it. Once he got ready, that baby just started on pitch number 1.
In terms of breaking it in, did you do it or did you have somebody else do it?
I always did it. I had a very special way of doing it, too. I would put 3 baseballs in it, tie it real tight, dunk it in the whirlpool.
Right. Solid smash. Base hit off the bat of Nelson Cruz.
One thing you just have to love about the swing of Nelson Cruz, very simple. Take the barrel of the bat to the ball and hit it where it's pitched. We've seen him drive the ball out of the ballpark to right field, center field, and left. But it's on those type of swings, the line drive right back through the middle. You see the simplicity of that swing.
Here's Kyle Seager. 5-game hitting streak rolling for him. Seager 1 for 4 last night. First inning single. Last year in April, when the Mariners lost 8 consecutive games, it was a breakout performance by Seager that ended that streak.
Kyle had a good ball game against Alex Colomé back in Tampa. Ended up with a couple of home runs in that game.
Bouncing ball goes foul. Today is the 71st anniversary of D-Day, the liberation of Europe, Omaha, Utah, Sword Beach, in Normandy. Lawrence Peter Yogi Berra was one of many in Major League Baseball who participated in a rocket launching ship off the coast of Normandy. On this day, 71 years ago. And to those who are still amongst us, thank you so much for your service. We salute you.
Here, here. What a life Mr. Yogi Berra, Lawrence Berra, has lived.
Just turned 90 recently.
10 World Series rings.
And Bill Russell has more championships. 12. Seager trying to get something going here. 1-2 count with 2 outs and a man aboard. Strike 3 called. That'll do it for the Mariners in the first. No score here at Safeco Field. Coors Light cold hard facts. In Dave Valley, the pitching has been stellar. The offense, not so.
Only 6 runs in the last 4 starts by Mike Montgomery, Taijuan Walker, Elias, and Jay Happ. Jay Happ was absolutely outstanding last night. 7 innings, no runs. And we talked about Colomé being a slow worker. I love the rhythm and timing of Jay Happ last night.
Well, will number 34 add to it? There was a time back in the day I could have done that. Many moons ago. Well, thanks for the memory.
That was some good work right there.
That was very good work. Outstanding.
Very clean.
Definitive. Here's Asdrubal Cabrera. Shows bunt. Takes ball 1. Cabrera, Elmore, and Franklin 6, 7, and 8 here for the Rays, who come in starting today a half game behind the Yankees in the American League East. Felix in the first inning walked 2 and struck out 2. Left 2 men stranded. Kiermaier stole second and third after a leadoff walk to open up the ballgame. Texas is won at Kansas City 4-2. Houston's lost at Toronto 7-2. Oakland, a loser at Boston 4-2. Last look, the Yankees, and it's a final 8-2. Yankees beat the Angels 8-2. So everybody in the division's lost. Felix, though, is behind 3-0. Cabrera 3 for 24 against the King. Back. We're talking about that Texas win. Rangers have really caught fire, winning 14 of their last 17 and 21 of the last 34. They have made a run, and they still have more pitching still to return. They got some young kids getting it done. 3-2 pitch to Cabrera.
That was a quick turnaround for the Rangers. Looked like they were sinking like a rock, and quick turnaround, nice hot run, and they're right back in. They're only 4.5 games out of first place. They back in the month of May. Texas hit only .210 as a team.
There's a strikeout of Cabrera. Back-to-back Ks for Felix. 3 for the ball game here in the early going. 1 away.
So I share all that for all the Mariner fans out there. But here's a look on the Alaska Supremo. You see the grip on that changeup as that ball just tumbles down and away from Cabrera for strike 3.
They got what they were asking for. 3 strikeouts for Felix. 1 down here in the second. Here's Jake Elmore. Elmore, the first baseman last night. Tonight he plays at third. Evan Longoria gets the night off. It'll be interesting to see Felix get his field back, get back to where he usually is after this rough start in the first inning.
I like the fact that he's throwing the curveball. Most of the pitches that he's missing up and in or up and away from the left hand. Like right there. Sometimes when you go to a breaking ball or a curveball where you're taking a little bit more off, it has a tendency to keep you back a little bit so you can finish off your pitches.
One-two pitch. Head up the middle. Into center field for a base hit. First hit of the evening for the Rays with 1 out. From co-workers to clients to family and friends, the suites at Safeco Field serve as the perfect space to entertain guests. Whether hosting 14 or 400, each suite option offers you game tickets, catering, and VIP parking. For more information, visit mariners.com/premium. Cougar Nation represented here tonight in that suite. There's former Mariner Nick Franklin. He was called up to the Rays when we were down there about 10 days ago. Been a struggle. 3 for 33. Batting left-handed, he's hitting .043, 1 for 23.
Funny how we saw that Cougar Nation up there, huh? We just kind of found that out there. A lot of Cougars around here.
Producer, stage manager, and many more. 1-1. Runner goes. Got a good break. Fouled off.
Say hello to my good friend and former Cougar, Brian Weeks. Brian, a proud alumni of Cougar Nation. And my golfing buddy.
There we go. Gotta say hello to the fellas. 1 out, 1 on, no score. Top the second. Just outside. Rays won the first game. Thursday 2-1 behind Erasmo Ramirez. Oh, Edison Elias pitched brilliantly in 8 innings. Took the loss. Last night Jay Happ was outstanding. 7 innings. Mariners lose 1-0. And now they're 2-2 here in the second inning. Scoreless ball game. Cano, quick release. Here's a double play. And that'll do it for the Rays in the second inning as they double up Elmore at first base. When we come back, it'll be Mark Trumbo, Seth Smith, and Logan Morrison for the Mariners. Casino, big catch, and Robinson Cano right on the spot here on this line drive by Nick Franklin. They're able to double up Jake Elmore to get out of the inning.
Robbie takes that almost like turning a double play right there.
Such a quick release and such an accurate throw. And doing a lot of work here this evening. A lot of fun out there. We had college night last evening and another good crowd out there tonight. There's Mark Trumbo, the newest Mariner, to lead things off. DHing tonight. Looks at a strike. First time he's facing Colomé.
It fills up quickly out there before the ball game when we're doing the pregame show.
Trumbo able to check his swing. 1-1. Colomé's wins this year: beat Baltimore, won at Boston, and won against Oakland. Had to battle pneumonia during spring training. Missed a lot of time. A high pop-up. Coming in is Souza, the right fielder, puts it away. One down here in the Mariners second. Stick around after the game. The Mariners postgame presented by Delta Airlines. Good Saturday evening crowd here at Safeco Field. As you look in from the pen, we're above the A at Safeco Field. 20,695 last night. Looks like we're going to beat that pretty easily. Kings court in session, a high court in session. Felix on the mound. Brings up Seth Smith. He's in left field tonight. Rays put the shift on against Seth. Up high. Mariners struggling offensively during the 7-game losing streak, hitting just .238, averaging 1.9 runs per ball game, a total of 13 runs. And during the losing streak, club's hitting only $1.59, runners in scoring position, leaving 60 runners aboard. That's almost 9 a ball game.
It's tough to win a game when you're not getting it done with runners in scoring position.
.30 pitch. And he takes it for ball 4. Colomé's first walk. 1 out, 1 on for Logan Morrison. Coming up tomorrow, CenturyLink What's Next? Better be ready. Chris Archer's been striking out the world here. We saw 12 against the Mariners when we were in Tampa Bay. And it goes against Mike Montgomery, who had an outstanding debut.
Yeah, what was so impressive about Chris Archer in that start, he struck out 12 and he only threw 85 pitches before taking out of that game.
An outstanding Archer with 97 strikeouts, second to Corey Kluber in the American League. Here's Lomo, 12-game hitting streak. Ball 1.
After 5 consecutive balls, Rene Rivera goes out to talk with Colomé. Having a hard time this inning locating that fastball. Throw his fastball 56% of the time. Mostly fastball, slider, and change. He'd throw a working and an occasional curveball.
One more note on Archer. Last start, 15 Ks against the Angels. The start before that, 12 against the Mariners. You ready, boys? Lomo's hitting streak continues. It's at 13 games. Line drive, base hit. First and second to the Mariners with 1 down.
Good solid base hit right here by Logan Morrison after falling ahead in the count 1-0. He's looking fastball. He gets it. He covers this pitch down and in.
Lomo now is 13 for his last 46 with that base hit. Here's Willie Bloomquist, his 4th start this season at shortstop. And Willie will be the first to tell you that he's due in his limited time. He's 0 for his last 10 at the plate. Strike 1 to Willie. Seth Smith walked. Logan Morrison reached on a base hit. His hitting streak at 13 games ties his career best. Longest hit streak of any Mariner this season. It's Leroy. They get the front end. That's all they'll get. The runners at the corners. Elmore goes to Forsythe to get the force on Morrison.
Really gets out in front of this changeup right here and just chops it, but it's slow enough. And the Rays don't have an opportunity to double him up over at first base. Inning stays alive, and Mike Zunino has an opportunity here to put the Mariners ahead.
Mike had a terrific at bat in the 9th inning. 9 pitches before he fouled out to the right fielder Souza in, I'd say, medium right foul territory, if you will. And there was no way in the world Rich Donnelly was going to send the runner. He'd have been out by 30 feet. They wanted to draw the throw, and the throw turned out to be a good one. But it was not deep enough to tie the ball game up in the 9th. Mike trying to break in 0 for 10.
Yeah, Souza has a very strong throwing arm out there in right field. And I'm guessing he's about 150 feet out.
Right on the money. Runners at the corners, 2 down. 0-1.
Rays have stayed away from Mike Zunino this entire series, trying to make him chase something on the outer half.
Fouls it off. 1-2. 2 outs, 2 on here in the bottom of the second. No score. Colomé against Felix Hernandez. Felix has struck out 3, walked 2, given up 1 hit in his first 2 innings, but he's thrown a lot of pitches. 40 through the first 2. Once again, the Mariners with a runner in scoring position. It's not been a good run here in this homestand.
Something not quite right there for Rene Rivera as he goes out to talk with these young right-hander. Situation like this, as a catcher, you always want to make sure that your pitcher knows exactly what you're trying to do. You've got 2 outs, runners are at the corners.
Mariners surely could use a hit here. 2 outs, runners at the corners. Zunino's got a 1-2 count. Rivera sets up outside pitch, rolled over. Charging is the shortstop Cabrera. Throws him out, and the Mariners strand a couple of runners, including 1 at third base. No score here at Safeco Field. For this date in MLB history, the great Willie Horton became the 43rd player to reach 300 career home runs. With a blast off at Detroit's Jack Morris at the Kingdom. Willie, of course, had his primo years with Detroit, but came over here to the expansion Mariners and had some good years. What a good man. Played his final 2 seasons, his 18-year career with the Mariners. Tigers from 63 to 77. Made the All-Star game 4 times, and a big part of that 68 World Championship team. What a good man.
The Muldinger. He can swing it. Big, strong man.
Oh, my goodness. He didn't cheat himself when he took a hack, that's for sure. Rene Rivera, the catcher, is going to lead off. Followed by Kevin Kiermaier and Joey Butler, 9-1-2 against Felix.
One thing I remember about Willie Horton was he had this bat that he loved.
Okay.
He swung a big, heavy bat. And when he break it, he gets a little tacks. Nail it in, get some pine tar, get it all caked up so you couldn't see it. Keep on using it, keep on hitting home runs, and then he'd break it again, and he'd put more tacks in.
So how long did that bat last?
I believe it ended up with about 8 before he eventually put it away to pasture.
Oh, my goodness. Well, I hope he has it in his trophy case somewhere. 1-2 as Rivera fouls one off. Seeing Willie the last few years when we go to Detroit. Pleasure to talk to. Enjoyed watching him when I was a kid. That 68 team. I was rooting for the Cardinals that year, but that was a great Detroit team. 1-2. Swing and a miss. Rivera's gone. That's strikeout number 4 for Felix.
Good curveball right there from Felix. Started about waist high on Rivera and then ends up bouncing in the dirt. Very sharp break on this as we check it out on Alaska Supermo. You see that good snap right there. Good tight rotation. 12-6. The ball ends up bouncing in the dirt. That's what we call dropping off the table.
Top of the order. Here's Kiermaier for the second time. Fouls it off. He walked, stole second, and stole third. Originally called out at third. They went to the replay and saw that he got in by a couple of fingers. So here we are in the third. Val, what do you think of Felix so far coming off of that unusual performance against the Yankees? This one fielded by Cano. Felix covers. Nicely done.
So, so far I'm liking it. We've seen a little inconsistency with his fastball in that first inning when he walked 2, but he's able to stay away from any damage. As Robbie Cano gives Felix a nice little lead pass right here. I always want to lead the pitcher so he doesn't have to slow down. This way he can catch the ball, get it to him as quick as you can, and then watch his right foot.
That's the one he's had trouble with a couple of times going back to that start in Oakland, where he broke immediately for the bag. They stopped by Cano.
It looks like it kind of might have a little twinge right there. He took his time getting from first base back to the top of the mound.
12th of April. Similar type play. 0-1 to Joey Butler, struck out his first time. Felix with 4 strikeouts, 2 walks. So we play here in the third. Butler 0-2.
We talked about Felix starting off a little slow. The good ones know how to make those adjustmts within the game. This inning much sharper than we saw in the first 2.
Nice play, Willie Bloomquist. And a hang with him. Dug out by Lomo. Well done at both ends. 10 pitches that inning for Felix Hernandez as he shuts down the Rays 1-2-3. And the hope now is that Felix's ankle's going to be fine as he salutes both Willie Bloomquist and Morrison as we go to the bottom of the third here in Seattle. In Seattle, as we take a look at the Mariners calendar, brought to you by Sleep Country USA. Wrap up this long homestand tomorrow, then take off for Cleveland, off day there, play the Tribe, 2 night games and a day game. And we see those Astros back-to-back weekends on the road, come home after playing San Francisco on the road, get the Giants, the world champions, 4 straight days, and then see the Astros here in Seattle. Austin Jackson leading things off. Get back to the top of the order. Rip down the line. It stays fair into the corner. Austin Jackson with a leadoff double here in the 3rd. His 6th double. He's 4 for his last 8. Starting to heat up.
This is exactly what the Mariners need. Get that lead runner on base and in scoring position. Alaska Supermo shows Austin Jackson getting out in front of this and ripping it down the left field line for a double. That ball rattling down there in the corner. Austin Jackson with a stand-up double.
Here's Robinson Cano for the 2nd time. He grounded out the 3rd. Chance to put the Mariners in front. Strike 1.
Robbie didn't like that, and EQC shows it being a little bit off the plate.
Mariners with a hit in each of the first 3 innings now. There's 2 on in the 2nd. Colomé ready in the 0-1 here to Cano. Jackson has to hold. Backhand by Cabrera. There's 1 down. The defending world champion San Francisco Giants, they make the trip up the coast for a 2-game set with the Mariners on Wednesday, June 17th and Thursday, June 18th. So line up your tickets today for this rare interleague matchup by visiting Mariners.com. Nelson Cruz, the hitter. Base hit center field on a 3-2 pitch in the 1st inning. Ellie has been sensational. Not every day, Val, you see your power guy 4th in the league in hitting.
But Nelly has done just about everything, though. We've seen him go foul line to foul line. No park is big, too big for him.
Slice foul. 2 out of 6 against Coleman. Jackson out at 2nd base, a leadoff double here in the home 3rd. Rich Donnelly coaching at 3rd, Chris Woodward coaching at 1st. Inside to Cruz, 1-1. No runs, 3 hits, no errors for the Mariners. 3 on so far, no runs, 1 hit for the Rays. The time is called. Rays have stranded 2. Just trying to get back in this series. They've lost 2 one-run games. Moreover, trying to end a 7-game losing streak. So Rivera and Colomé trying to get situated.
It's the 3rd time they've had to have a little meeting of the minds out there.
2nd start for Colomé against the Mariners in a no decision back on May 26th down at St. Pete. Outfield straightaway and deep for Cruz. What else would you expect? Colomé, and he's ready. Here's the 1-1. Almost hit him. Had to jackknife out of the way. Ball 2. Well, he needs to throw a strike here. See how far he can hit one.
Well, he'll be looking for that fastball out over the plate. That's one thing Nelly has done so well this season. He's drive in runs. 39 so far here early in the season to go along with those 18 home runs. I love his approach. He doesn't try to do too much. Just looking to get that base hit. When you do that and you stay small, good things end up happening.
Here's a 2-1. Broken bat ground ball to Cabrera. Throws out Cruz. Jackson advances to third. And there's 2 away. Mariners still having trouble picking up runners in scoring position. Try a real triple play. ST Express buses, link light rail and sounder trains. Weigh your options at soundtransit.org. Well, here's a 2-out opportunity for Kyle Seager. Took a called third strike to end the first inning. Aaron is already 0 for 4 runners in scoring position. Jackson at third. That's where he was last night when the game ended. 1-0 Tampa Bay victory. Ball 1. Beautiful night here in Seattle. 82 degrees. Absolutely perfect. Good crowd on hand. 1-0 to Seager. Kyle in charge right now. 2-0. Mark Trumbo on deck. No panic in Lloyd McClendon. And talking to him today, he said, hey, this too shall pass. They had a 7-game losing streak earlier. A couple of good road trips and people forgot about it. This will be forgotten too at some point. Added benefit today, everybody else in the division has already lost. Round is starting today 9.5 behind first place Houston. 2-0 to Seager. Make it ball 3. O'Sheen Lloyd turns Seager loose. 3-0. He's got Mark Trumbo hitting behind him tonight.
And I'm sure he's got that green light right here. Colomé pitching very carefully to Kyle Seager. He's got the right-handed hitter Trumbo coming on deck. They're going to end up walking him here.
Second walk by Colomé. So it sets up first and second. They want to go righty on righty with Mark Trumbo. Trumbo fly ball to right. And his first at bat. We want to see this guy get going because he's got prodigious power. Seen it when he was with the Angels. He hit some big home runs here in this ballpark and too many against the Mariners down in Anaheim.
And wouldn't this be a great spot to endear himself to the crowd?
Here, here.
Little 3-run Jimmy Jack right here. Just what the doctor ordered.
Outfield still straight away and deep. Second baseman Forsythe playing up the middle. Huge hole right side in the infield. First pitch to Trumbo. This is his third game here, and he has been in attack mode. You love seeing that.
Yeah, he gets his money's worth. No question about it. We saw him on the opposite side for so many years with the Angels. As you mentioned, put a lot of daggers into the Mariners over the years.
Ridiculous. Here comes the 0-1. Broken bat, ground ball, going to be handled by Forsythe. Throws him out. The Mariners strand 2 more here in the third. No score at Safe Go Field.
Jen Mueller. And based on the number of jerseys I saw around town today, there are a lot of you rooting on the Mariners and King Felix tonight. But these make the cut. It looks like a guy's night out there in left field. Jeff, thanks for submitting your Where I Root photo. And then we've got the first game as a family. And of course, you have to check out the Dave Niehaus statue. That is a good-looking crew there. And enjoying his first Mariners game. You know, I'm more of a pink cotton candy gal myself, but the blue one looks like a lot of fun and a huge mess, one that I am glad that I am not cleaning up tonight. Dave Sims, that is a look at Where I Root.
Wow, that's going to be a sticky mess for that mom or dad. Have at it. Been there, done that.
Good color, too. Blue mustache, Mariner blue mustache.
There we go, right color. All right, Dave, 2 more left on. That's 5 for the game for the Mariners.
Not a good start.
No.
We were hoping for better.
There's De Jesus to lead it off. David, Logan Forsythe, and Steven Souza Jr. 3, 4, and 5. It's hanging up in the air. For Seth Smith. Catches in fair territory. There's one away.
Felix had a much-needed 10-pitch inning last inning. After throwing 24 in the first. He needs to have some very low counts going through the middle part of this ballgame to get deep.
There's Logan Forsythe. 1 hit last night, a biggie. It was the game winner, leading off the top of the 9th off of Fernando Rodney. He too has been struggling lately. Working that inside corner for a strike.
Forsythe just missed that hanging slider right there on the inner half of the plate.
Kings Court in session, High Court in session right above them. Felix ahead. He's looking for his 5th strikeout. Foul back.
There's the High Court right up there on Lookout Landing.
Great view, and see so many great things from up high there, down low. Beautiful day, Mount Rainier driving in. Boy, what a beautiful picture that was. Beautiful sight. It's a clear day.
Here's a changeup down. Forsythe just drops the head of the bat. Clearly does not go. There's nothing quite like that drive over the bridge. And look off to the left and you see it's like God just painted it in the sky.
1-2 pitch, swing and a miss. 2 outs here in the 4th for Felix. Strikeout number 5.
Alaska Supermo gets a closer look right here as Felix winds and delivers. See that change right there, a little circle change. His thumb and forefinger make a 0, a circle. And that ball tumbles out of the last 3 fingers of his hand.
Felix with 5 strikeouts to play here in the 4th. And he delivers the strike to Souza. Felix has had 2 double-figure strikeout performances this year. His first game, it was the season opener here against the Angels. He struck out 10. 2 starts later against Texas, he struck out 12. Off the fist, popped up. Plenty of room for Lomo. Nice clean inning for Felix Hernandez. 9 pitches in that inning. He's back on schedule. No score. Getting some runs. inning, and that man right there, Chris Archer, we're going to see him tomorrow. We take a look at our lows, never stop improving. Last time the Mariners saw Chris Archer, he was striking out 12, and then he followed that up with a 15K performance at the Angels last week. There may not be any hotter pitcher on the planet right now.
So maybe the good thing is he's going to be a little tired after striking all those guys out.
So he's back. I talked to him yesterday. Fastball, slider, and an improving changeup. And he's able to low. His command is ridiculously good.
Yeah, we saw that against the Mariners. He was so efficient. Only 85 pitches to strike out 12.
And then he took him out, much to the delight of the Mariners. On a visit down to St. Pete, Mariners wound up winning that game, 3-run homer.
Yeah, when a guy is dominating quite like that, and then they take him out, the other team is like, thank you so much. Gets anybody else in there.
Right? Shift on for Seth Smith. Swings through 0-2. Smith, Morrison, and Bloomquist 6, 7, and 8 for the Mariners. No runs, 3 hits for the Mariners. They've stranded 5.
Last fastball by Colomé at 96 miles an hour.
He's feeling good. One and 2. Told you Colomé was deliberate. Even the center fielder, Kevin Kiermaier, is down in the catcher's position waiting for Colomé. Let's get moving here. 2-2 pitch. Slicer, left side, going to drop in. Seth Smith out of the box hard. Trying to extend it. Does he get there? He does. A hustle double by Seth Smith to lead off the Mariners' 4th. Smitty's 13th two-bagger this season. Maybe that'll be the spark. 4th hit for the Mariners.
Yeah, the second time tonight, the Mariners lead off the inning with a double. Alaska Scooper Mo shows us Seth hits this just soft enough. When that ball lands out there in shallow left field right down the line, it gives him enough time to make the turn at first base. To throw a little bit offline to Cabrera. Smith is in there safely.
He was thinking double right out of the box. Logan Morrison extended his hitting streak to 13 games back in the second inning. See if he can give himself a multi-hit game and an RBI.
Outfield playing deep. Rich Donnelly over at third base. You see that out there, and you start thinking, okay, base hit. I'm going to send him here.
Mariners 0 for 5 to this point. Runners in scoring position.
That changeup at 87 miles an hour. I mentioned his fastball is coming in at 96. 9-mile-an-hour differential is a good depth on that changeup.
3 defenders right side of the infield for Morrison. 1-1 count. Chop foul. Runner at second, nobody out here in the 4th inning. Logan Morrison about 3 times this week has been in the leadoff spot. Lloyd McClendon searching for anybody who can ignite this offense. Mariners team batting average, runners in scoring position entering tonight at 212, and it has been trending downward. 1-2 to Lomo. Ball 2.
I think as you look at that lineup adjustment, having Logan Morrison in that leadoff spot, always looking at on-base percentage. I need somebody to get on base. I don't care if he has speed. That's not a big part of the Mariners' offensive strategy. So let's get runners on base. Who are those guys that are getting on? Okay, we're going to put them 1, 2, 3, 4.
Two pitch. Slicing drive left field to Jesus. Got to play it on the bounce. Put the stop sign on for Smith at third. So slowly building an inning as the first 2 men have reached. Runners at the corners for the Mariners in the 4th.
We got back-to-back soft fly balls out there to left field. Looks like DeJesus starts to think about diving for this ball. At the last minute, kind of takes a step back and plays it on a hop. You saw Logan Morrison not taking off with the contact. So he knew that he was going to be able to hold him up at third.
Here's an opportunity for Willie Bloomquist. Getting to start at shortstop tonight. Brad Miller with the night off. Willie 0 for his last 11.
Well, we've seen the Mariners in this situation. Will Lloyd do something a little bit different right here? Maybe a squeeze, maybe a safety squeeze.
Willie swinging away, base hit. Run scoring single by Willie Bloomquist, and the Mariners have a 1-0 lead here in the 4th. 3 consecutive hits against Alex Colomé.
Or just how about a line drive right back up the middle? Willie Bloomquist jumps on this high pitch. Not trying to do too much. Takes the barrel of the bat right to the ball as Seth Smith comes in to score. Here's a look at Willie. Pitch up, elevated. Not trying to do too much again. Just takes it right back where it's pitched. Great approach right there by the veteran shortstop.
So Willie breaks an 0 for 11. Felix has got to run, see if they can continue and build something big and special. Bunch shown by Zunino. Takes ball 1. Grounded out to short his first time. Double, single, singles produce the run here in the 4th. The run-starved Mariners.
I like the bunt right here.
First and second. Long look by Colomé. Real long look by Colomé. Now he steps off. Zunino with 1 sacrifice so far this season. Mariners a run on 6 hits, no runs, 1 hit for Tampa Bay. 1-0 pitch. Crashing was the first baseman Nick Franklin. And Zunino takes ball 2. Bud McClendon's ball club has a lead for the first time since late in the game Tuesday against the Yankees. Mike Z's got a 2-0 count straight away and deep. That's how the outfield plays it. Shows bunt and takes ball 3.
With Mike Zunino turning around to square, it looks like it has really thrown off Colomé. All 3 of those pitches not even close to the zone.
David's a former catcher. Why do we see that so often when the guy squares around the bunt, all of a sudden the guy won't throw a strike?
Because they're trying, for some reason, pitchers try to miss the bat. So instead of just saying, okay, hey, he's giving me an out. Let me make a good pitch. My guys are going to be crashing. Maybe we can get the guy. You got Logan Morrison on second base, not a speedster. Maybe we get it and cut him off at third.
3-0 to Mike. There's a strike in the outside corner. Take a long look at Rich Donnelly, third base coach. Mariners in business here. First and second, nobody out.
See if Lloyd keeps that bunt on or he gives the green light to Zunino.
3-1 pitch. Showing bunt. Takes ball 4 to load him up. And Austin Jackson will come to the plate. He's been a hot hitter, 4 for his last 8. Jim Hickey, the pitching coach, rushing out to see Colome, who's in an authentic jam here right now with a run in and the bases loaded, nobody out. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Seattle Mariners and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Seattle Mariners. Good to have you with us this Saturday night. Mariners have them loaded in the 4th. Dave Sims, Dave Valley in for Mike Flowers is off this weekend. Jim Hickey has said his piece. What do you say, Val? A little gap shot and everybody runs.
Well, we've seen Austin Jackson line that triple to right center field gap last night to lead off the bottom of the 9th, and today led off with a ringing double down into that left field corner.
Good production by the 6, 7, 8, 9 hitters for the Mariners here in the 4th. Jackson 0 for 2. The bases loaded so far this season. Nobody out. Up high. Boy, Rivera had to do a good job to keep that from going to the backstop.
Colome looking a little rattled right here with the bases loaded.
Double, single, RBI, single walk. Loaded him up. 1-0. Oh boy, he took a rip. 1-1.
Jackson's having some good swings up there the last few days. This situation, you don't want to be trying to do too much. You got the bases loaded. All the pressure right here is on this young pitcher.
Colome, 26 years old, out of the Dominican Republic. The 1-1. Popped up. Playable. Making the catch is Elmore. 1 down, bases loaded. Brings up Robinson Cano. Hey, Mariner fans. Ford dealers in the Pacific Northwest are hosting a peanut butter drive to make sure no child goes hungry this summer. Visit your local Ford store to donate an unopened jar of peanut butter. For more information, visit www.fordfeedskids.org. Well, Robbie found himself in this spot last night in the 7th inning with the bases loaded. And on a 1-1 pitch, he dribbled one to the first baseman, Jake Elmore. So he is looking to break out in a big way. 0 for his last 6, which includes his 2 groundouts tonight. Too good a hitter to stay in a slump this long. What you think, Val?
You know what Robbie's going through just kind of drives home the point of how difficult it is.
Bingo.
To hit.
Thank you.
No matter how good you are, whether you're King Griffey Jr. or Robinson Cano, there's going to be times when you're just not going to be successful. We're just so unaccustomed to seeing Robbie go through a struggle like this.
Oakland were talking about that earlier today before the Belmont Stakes and before and during his media session. He said, hey, this is a guy that's similar to Michael Jordan, to Barry Bonds. They have stuff. He says, I played ball, but I was never elite like they were. When they got into trouble, they were able to figure things out. And he said, Robbie's going to get it figured out before long. 1-0 pitch to Cano, bases loaded, 1 out. This will be a double play. And that will end the inning. Mariners get just 1 out of what looked like could have been a bonanza. 1-0 Mariners. way, they get just one run in a bases-loaded situation. Dave Valley, you've got some stuff on Felix.
Yeah, we've been talking about the great changeup that Felix has, and this is a circle change. Look at his index finger and thumb. It's forming a circle right there. The last three fingers are on the seams of the baseball. As he starts to deliver this ball, you're going to see those three fingers. And now as he comes forward and releases it, that ball just kind of tumbles out of his hand. But the great thing about Felix's arm speed, it looks like a fastball. The arm speed is the same, but the ball comes out of the hand much slower. On this pitch that he throws, opponents are all hitting only .097. Wow.
Here's Cabrera looking at strike one. Cabrera, Elmore, and Franklin 6, 7, and 8 for the Rays here in the fifth. Well, Felix, he's the big guy, and they gave you a run. Work with it.
Let's get greedy tonight.
I'm with you. Honest to goodness.
Let's have a laugher.
7. Felix is
It's been a while since you had a laugher, hasn't it?
Yeah, I don't even want to look back, but it's been a while. Felix has retired the last 7. He's ahead of Cabrera. 0-2.
The court has been chanting a lot here this evening.
1-2. I love the atmosphere when Felix pitches here at home, because the Kings court wants anything close, and they let you know that. Oh, is that like Paulie Walnuts? Oh, what are you missing here? Check down to third, Adrian Johnson.
The Mariners staff have really turned this Felix Day into an event each time. It just feels like that special event. They've done such a great job with it.
Two. Fouled off. Felix has 5 strikeouts. He's walked 2. They both came in the first inning. 2-2. Took a lot off it. And this is driven deep to center. A lot of carry. But Jackson's there on the track to make the catch. One away here in the fifth. And meet the best mascot in baseball when you stop by the Seattle Children's Moose Den at Safeco Field. Simply head to the den located on the main concourse in center field. The next time you're here at the ballpark for a photo with the one and only Mariner Moose. 8 consecutive retired by Felix. He's got Jake Elmore. Jake at third base tonight. Single to center. 2 down as he lines out to Willie Bloomquist. Felix threw 9 pitches in the 4th inning. He's thrown 7 here to get the first 2 outs in the 5th. The hitter's going to be Nick Franklin, the former Mariner, who lined into a double play in the 2nd inning.
Felix now at 66 pitches, and remember that first inning he had 24. Turned things around very quickly, made some adjustments, started working ahead.
10 pitches here as Lomo will take this to the bag. Another economical inning by Felix Hernandez. 8 pitches. They go at 9 the previous. So he truly is back on schedule, and he's got a 1-0 lead.
Back to the Ford Sports Desk. I'm Jen Mueller, and by now you know that we ask you to submit your best photos of the evening using the hashtag #WhereIRoot. And by the looks of it, a lot of you guys are rooting from the ballpark. Caitlin submits the photo of that cutie patootie, and congratulations to Heather. They are celebrating their engagement at the ballpark. Thanks for sending that picture. And finally, Ryan enjoying his game at the ballpark. And hopefully, Dave Sims, a Mariners win now that they have backed Felix with a run.
I like your thought process, Jen. Thank you very much. Nelson Cruz leading off. Cruz, Seager, and Trumbo. 3-4-5 here in the 5th inning. RBI by Willie Bloomquist batting out of the 8-hole. In the 4th inning, put the Mariners in front. Ronald had 6 hits. Felix throwing a 1-hit shutout.
Dave, did you feel what I felt when Willie got that hit? It's kind of like a release, like the log jam was broken right there.
Got to just keep it going because the Mariners are just 2 for 9. Runners in scoring position for Willie. Broken 0 for 11. Picked up his 4th RBI. At this level, when you've got an 0 for going, you're well aware of it, right? Maybe even to the number. And more often than not, you're dead on without having to have to look at the numbers.
You don't want to look at the numbers. You don't want the details. You just know.
Yeah.
You just know it's not been good.
Yeah.
I've been through a lot of those. Not good.
Breakouts, though, the party afterwards, though, when you break out, that's memorable.
Well, there are times when you're going through it, you're thinking, will I ever get another hit? How many guys are playing out there?
Slicing drive. Kiermaier came in, breaks back, and makes the catch. Our last look at the Rays for the 2015 season tomorrow. CenturyLink, what's next? Mike Montgomery coming off a sparkling debut, big league debut, after coming over in the trade last week. Goes against Chris Archer. All Archer's done over the last 2 games, 15 Ks against the Angels and 12 against the Mariners. So the Mariners better be on their hitting game tomorrow.
Well, what a debut by Mike Montgomery against the New York Yankees.
It was great. Poised. He was telling us the next day, here's Seager, about the experience of warming up in the bullpen and all the Mariner fans out there. Hey, Montgomery, breathe. And talking about how the walk was different coming in, and didn't,
hey, it's a triple-decker stadium.
Yeah, right.
I mean, that alone is a hugely different feeling.
Yeah. It's interesting. Remember last week when Joe Beimel got a save, I think that was one in Tampa, and he said it seemed like he was in another dimension for the first 2 pitches. He had to step back, because he was in a safe situation.
Right.
And Montgomery talked about almost that same kind of feeling. He had to step back one time and says, whoa, this is really happening.
Yeah, let me pinch myself.
Yeah. Do you have an out-of-body experience like that where you're sort of like off to the side looking at yourself like, holy Toledo, I'm really here, man?
I did. I got called up in 1984, my first year in the big leagues. We got to Kansas City.
Right.
We stayed out at the hotel in the Adams Mark Hotel.
Yeah.
Got in late. Me, Harold Reynolds, and Danny Tartable. And I'm sorry, Darnell Coles. I think Darnell was on that flight with us.
Okay, 2
I
and 2
remember
to
opening the windows, and
okay.
the lights were still on. It was about 2 a.m. Couldn't sleep all night. Got to the ballpark at about 12:30 for early BP.
Mm-hmm.
Early BP, there's nobody there. It's about 15 people on the field, some coaches, a few of the hitters. And I remember I got in the box, and all of a sudden, it was like I was having a hard time breathing, a little hyperventilating. Right? So I bent down, knelt down, untied my shoes.
Tried to be cool.
Yeah, it's like, oh, let me tighten these up. And just had to, just like you're saying, to step back and take a deep breath. I was like, I finally got here.
Yeah, good for you.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
So I do know that feeling.
Yeah, I figured you did.
Oh, I'm kind of embarrassed sharing it right now, actually. I'm turning red here, folks.
Ground ball to Forsythe. Throws out Seager. I'm sure if you go through, all 750 guys in the bigs, superstars to the last guy in the bench, they all have that story, man.
Absolutely. You start reminiscing, as you're understanding this new experience of all the things that you've done,
right,
all the things that you've sacrificed, all the ups and the downs of
stuff
going through, the injuries that you've overcome, and the rehab that it took to get you back out on the field, and bam, you're here. You finally, your dream is being realized, that dream that you had when you were 6 years old playing Little League.
Trumbo looks at a pitch outside. Mark 0 for 2.
And it's those experiences, and we're talking about Robbie struggling. All of those experiences that you've gone through are the things that tell you, you know, I do have the confidence. I'm going to get through this. I've been through it before. This is not the first time I've struggled. And because you've learned how to turn the tide back in the minor leagues.
1-1. I've got a lot of experience in the NFL and the NBA and college, and I marvel at how baseball players deal with, you know, the rate of failure in this game is phenomenal. And how you guys continue.
And for most of us, it's more than 30%.
Yeah, right. So, and how you're able to get up and, hey, let's go get them, man. And I think that's something, you know, fans don't understand that sometimes. You know, there's a segment of the population that doesn't take that into account. You know, not everybody. There's only, how many? It was 19,000 men have played this game in the history of the game going back 100+ years.
Well, and you think of the job that that Lloyd McClendon is doing right now. That's the type of leadership when you're going through a hard time. Somebody has got to keep the positivity.
Which he
going.
does.
Hey, today's the day, guys. Today's the day we're going to turn it around. And if it doesn't happen today, tomorrow comes. Today's the day.
There you go.
And it's got to be there, because it's too easy to go the other way. It's easy to go the other way. It's hard to stay on track, on the right road, on the right path.
That's how you were able to play. You know, you played double digit years. 2-2. Swing and a miss by Trumbo. 1-2-3. The Mariners go in the 5th, but 1-0 lead with Felix on the mound. Sports is brought to you by Reardon Maserati of Kirkland. Eastside Service, the absolute opposite of ordinary. By BNSF Railway, sponsor of the BNSF Blast. And by Vern Fonk. Bad luck can hit anyone, ensure, with the 13th man. Well, if you're of the nautical persuasion, you could not ask for better weather here in Seattle, as the Mariners have a 1-0 lead over the Rays, trying to end a 7-game losing streak, trying to get their second win on this homestand before we close up shop tomorrow before a road trip to Cleveland, Houston, and San Francisco. There's Rene Rivera, the catcher for the Rays. Struck out his first at bat. Felix Hernandez, after a rocky start, 24 pitches in the first inning, 16 in the second. The next 3 innings, he's gone 10, 9, and 8, and has retired the last 10 men that he's faced. Felix, in 9 previous starts at Safeco Field against the Rays, is 5-0 with a 1.69 ERA, and of course that includes the August 15th, 2012 spectacular, the 1-0 perfecto. King's Court and the High Court on hand. Strikeout number 6. He's got a half dozen as we play here in the 6th inning. 1 away and 11 consecutive batters retired.
The King is on a roll right now, working ahead and just painting the corners. This one has that great move and just nicking the inside part. Alaska Supermo shows Rivera trying to pull back. But the King has been so good and so consistent on that inside corner. He's starting to get those pitches, even if they're a little bit off the plate.
Kiermaier with good speed, shows bunt, draws in Seager. Kiermaier walked to lead off the ball game, stole second and third. Second time up, he grounded out to Cano, who fed to Felix, covering the back. Strikeouts against 2 walks, and those walks seem like a distant memory now. They were back in the 1st inning.
Kiermaier trying to do something a little bit different here to get on the base. Tampa Bay looking for base runners themselves here against Felix Hernandez.
Good crowd on hand, 31,106.
Looked like an awfully good pitch right there. The curveball from Felix. Felix a little upset, stepping off the mound and working his way around back.
Allowed 1 base runner since the 1st inning. That was the Elmore 1-out single in the 2nd. There's a drive right field, going back. Cruz not going to get it. Extra bases. Kiermaier can fly. He's going to go for 3, and he's going to make it with a dive. Kevin Kiermaier, boy, did he get around those bases quickly. His 4th triple comes with 1 out here in the 6th. Tying run 90 feet away.
And the frustration for Felix right there is that last pitch prior to this ball hit in the gap. Felix thought it was a strike. It changes the at-bat. It goes from 3-1 to 2-2. It's the bottom there, number 4, is the one Felix was upset about. He comes back with that fastball up, out over the plate, and Kiermaier jumps on it into right center field. Kiermaier with great speed. Let's take a look. Looks like he just barely touches the very front of second base as he's trying to turn on the Jets to turn it into a triple.
Drawn in infield, 1 out, runner at 3rd. Butler fouls the first pitch off.
To give you an idea of how good Felix has been the last few innings, that was the first time he had a 3-ball count since the 1st inning when he walked 2.
Butler tonight has struck out. Grounded out to Willie Bloomquist, a bullet that Willie played beautifully, and then threw over to Lomo, who made a terrific scoop. Did not go as they check with Doug Eddings.
That pitch well in off the plate. Felix trying to run that 2-seam fastball in on the hands of Butler.
Triple by Kiermaier, the 2nd Tampa Bay hit. Swing and a miss, went right after.
Felix now at 78 pitches on the evening. And the King Court is back in session out there.
One-two pitch. 2-2. Big pitch here, 2-2. Gets away, and here comes a speedy Kiermaier, and he'll score standing up. We got a tied ball game. Wild pitch by Felix Hernandez.
There's a tough pitch in the dirt for Mike Zunino to block. It's a curveball. It bounces about 3 feet in front of home plate and kicks off to the right. Zunino got a body on it, but unable to keep it in front. The further that ball bounces from the catcher, the harder it is to control the direction of it.
3-2, a chopper by Butler. Throw over by Seager to get him for out number 2. 2 away here in the top of the 6th. All-star balloting. It continues, and Nelson Cruz is leading in the DH category. Vote for Nelson up to 35 times on the Esurance MLB All-Star Game ballot at Mariners.com. Voting is exclusively online and available on your computer, tablet, and smartphone. Vote at Mariners.com. 2 outs, nobody aboard, a run in, and a triple and a wild pitch. Brings up David DeJesus, who's walked and fly to left. He charges this one. Nice play. And Loma maintains contact to the bag. A run on a hit. There was no errors, but there was a wild pitch that scored the run, and it's a 1-1 ball game. Sports is brought to you by Jack in the Box. Taste the new black pepper cheeseburger today, only at Jack in the Box. By Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. By CenturyLink, your link to what's next. And by Money Tree, proud to make a donation to Mariners Care for every Mariners win. Hot fun in the summertime. Well, not officially summertime, but close to it. 1-1 ball game.
Folks over at Leshai jumping in the water at Lake Washington, catching some crawdads at the bottom of the lake.
They're ready to say, Val, some more runs here for the boys. They only have one.
Yes, sir.
2 for 9 runners in scoring position. Seth Smith will lead it off. He scored. Mariners' lone run in the 4th inning. Led off with a double down into the left field corner and scored on the Willie Bloomquist single.
LeMay now with 83 pitches. Both starters have been on point here tonight.
Felix has held Tampa Bay to a run on 2 hits. Colomé a run on 6 hits. Colomé struck out 2. He's walked 3. Steve Gelt's getting ready. Foul back. Ball and 2 strikes. Seth Smith leading off the home 6. They'll be followed by Logan Morrison and Willie Blomquist. That is playable. Left fielder taking charge to Jesus. Catches in fair territory. One away in the 6th. Make sure you join us June 15th during the Mariners-Giants game for the 2015 Mariners Root Sports Tele-Auction. Bid on exciting items like Felix Hernandez and Nelson Cruz autographed memorabilia. And all proceeds benefit Mariners Care. Been a good night for Logan Morrison as he's about to stand in.
They've got some good food down there at Edgar's.
Almost extended his hitting streak to 13 games. A single to right, 2nd inning, single to left in the 4th. 1-1 game. Both these teams struggle to score. Tampa Bay 27th in Major League Baseball, and the Mariners are 29th.
Like Logan might have found a crack in the handle of his bat.
Almost ahead in the count here. 2-0.
And just like catchers have a couple of game-ready bats, so do the hitters. Most guys will bring 3 of them to the dugout just in case.
2-0 pitch.
That bat that Lomos has in his hands right now already has the pine tar prepared, a little caked up on it, so it has that good feel that he's looking for.
He'll take the free base hit. 3 for 3 night for Lomo. Gets it done on a 2-1 pitch. Let's take a look at a T-Mobile game changer.
This happened just last inning. Felix Hernandez out on the mound. He's got Kiermaier. 2-1 right here. He wanted this. Take a look at Felix. He looks, he's kind of shocked that that ball was called a ball. Takes his time coming around the mound. The next pitch, Kiermaier jumps on a fastball and laces it out there in the right center field. Ends up being a triple. Kiermaier flying around second base.
11 seconds to get from home to third.
That's fast. Felix is very unhappy. He makes his feelings known. You can see him right there. That was a strike. The umpire disagreed and he said, no, that was a strike. Nothing wrong with sharing how you feel about certain pitches, but that truly changed that at bat for Kiermaier and Felix Hernandez. Ended up leading to the Rays' only run on the wild pitch.
There's Willie Blomquist, brought home the Mariners' only run. Back in the 4th inning, Mariners started out double single, RBI single to get the run. Got the bases loaded, and then Cano bounced into a double play to end the inning.
Getting back to Logan Morrison, I love that. They're going to put the shift on. You're going to give me a base hit, I'll take that all day long.
7th hit by the Mariners. Ball 1 to Willie.
Big hole on the right side as the Rays are squeezing and bunching Willie up the middle. See if he takes a shot over in there. Rene Rivera set up on the outside.
Runner goes. Here's the throw down to second. Cabrera with the tag, and they got him. Momo caught for the first time this year, 2 out of 3. There's 2 outs. Here in the 6th inning, caught stealing 2-6.
Mariners putting the game in motion right here. A little hit and run. Willie Bloomquist swings through it. Good throw by Rivera. As you see the tag applied to Logan Morrison. Pitch was well outside. Tough pitch to make contact on. Morrison gets nailed to second base.
Two balls, 1 strike.
I like that play. I know it didn't get executed the way you're wanting it to come out, but I like taking that chance. I like putting the game in motion. You got Willie Bloomquist up there, a guy who can handle the bat, put the bat on the ball. Just a very difficult pitch.
Popped up. Souza coming in. And that will do it. No runs, a hit, no errors, and nobody left. We've played 6. It's a 1-1 game. School Field in Seattle, 31,106 on hand as we check our Alexis pitching matchup. Alex Colomé against Felix Hernandez. Both have been stingy. We'd like to welcome Montana Opticom subscribers from Bozeman, Montana. Thank you for rooting on the Seattle Mariners. All of us at Root Sports and the Mariners appreciate your support. Just on the other side of the Continental Divide, Bozeman, Montana, home of the Montana State University. The Bobcats of Montana State.
Haven't been to Bozeman.
Have not. That has to be put on my calendar. Not been there. Flown over it many times, but not been there. Forsythe, Souza, and Cabrera. 4, 5, and 6 here for the Rays in the 7th against Felix. 6 strikeouts, 2 walks.
Felix really has a good feel for that curveball here tonight. Continues to work ahead as Logan Forsythe, now 0-2.
One of many things you got to love about Felix, his ability to battle back. Wasn't sharp as he normally is in the first inning with 24 pitches. He walked 2 men in that inning, none since. But a really good job, and had a couple of innings where he's very economical, is less than double figures. His pitch count is in good shape here in the 7th. Right on the button of Willie Bloomquist, takes his time. Great scoop by Logan Morrison.
Really a little upset at himself right there for short hopping Logan Morrison. He's getting some good chances over there. Alaska Supermo shows that little, looks like he's just trying to lay it in over there. As this ball starts to lose energy, Logan Morrison doing a great job over there at first base, picking it up.
Willie's third assist tonight.
Nothing like a good defensive first baseman.
Oh, goodness, you kidding?
You don't notice it until you don't have a good defensive first baseman.
And then the ERA start blowing up. Run totals start blowing up. Losses do.
Mariners have had some great defensive first basemen here over the year. One that comes to mind is John Olerud. One of the best I ever saw play the first base bag.
Very smooth. Good range.
Quiet
nice hands.
Yes. And if I recall correctly, when he was with the Mets, that Mets infield set a record for defense. The next year he came here, and that same Mets infield minus John Olerud had like an extra 20 errors or something.
There you go. I believe it was with that Met infield. John Olerud, Edgardo Alfonso, Hojo, I think, at third.
No, Edgardo Alfonso
I think was at third. That's right. It was
Ray Ordonez
and Robbie Alomar at second.
And Ray Ordonez was that shortstop.
Right.
Cuban shortstop.
Yeah. He couldn't hit, but great pick. Is that Alomar in his last couple of years?
I'm not sure if Robbie was there with the Mets at that time.
2-2 pitch. Center field for Jackson, right at him, pretty much. 2 outs. Take a look at the Delta Airlines keep climbing standings in the Western Division. Astros, Texas, Angels, and Oakland all lost today. This will be a good day for the Mariners to kickstart things and start to get back into this race. And don't forget, 6 times this month, the next 2 weekends. Next weekend at Houston, and the following weekend they'll be here. And you know, the Mariners have played Houston twice already, and both times missed Dallas Keuchel and still struggle like heck. 1-6 against the Astros. Shot foul by Asdrubal Cabrera, who struck out, flied out to center field. Felix Wild pitched in Kevin Kiermaier in the 6th inning. He had tripled. A 1-out triple in the 6th. That's the only run for the Rays. Willie Bloomquist knocked in a Mariner run in the 4th. Felix not a guy you'll see a lot of wild pitches from. That was just his 3rd on the season. One pitch. 0-2. Rasmo Ramirez on the left. Let's call him on the right. Ramirez won the first game of this series on Thursday night. Into Zunino's glove for strike 2.
Felix took just a little bit more off that changeup right there. Got Cabrera out in front.
So you play here in the 7th with 2 outs. Felix has 6 strikeouts. 2-2 pitch to Cabrera. Bounce foul. Felix career in 14 previous starts, 6-2 against the Rays, 1.95 ERA, 5-0 here at home, a 1.69 in 9 previous starts. Do it again at 2-2. The King deals. It's foul again. No action in either bullpen. Ed McClendon hoping for some more offense. Get the King his 9th win. 2-2. Some battle with Cabrera.
Cabrera really protecting with 2 strikes. Covering that pitch that's a little bit off the plate.
Felix starting tonight 7th in ERA in the American League. Sonny Gray the leader at 1.65. Keuchel at 1.85. Archer at 2.01. Two to Cabrera. Bounced up there, full count. On deck hitter, Jake Elmore. Payoff pitch. Slow breaking ball hit foul.
All those pitches on the outer half, only 1 actually in the strike zone. Well, actually 2. But Cabrera not giving in, giving quite a battle to Felix.
Well said. 9th pitch. 9 pitches so far in this at bat. Wellington Castillo just took Bartolo Colon deep. Meanwhile, here's Felix, 3-2 to Cabrera. Another foul ball. %10 of his pitches will have been at this at bat. 7 foul balls by Cabrera. Felix trying to give them what they want. 3-2. Lost it. 3rd walk, first since the 1st inning.
That's quite an at-bat by Asdrubal Cabrera. Battling, protecting the plate, swinging at pitches that are just a little bit off that could possibly be called a strike. Not taking any chances and really working Felix right there. 11 pitches. Not what you want in the top of the 7th inning.
No way. Especially after you get 2 quick outs on, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 7, 8 pitches. 2 outs.
You see in the middle part of this game, he really was economical with his pitches. Only 10 pitches in the 3rd. 9 and 8.
Here's Elmore. And he looks at a strike. Single to center and a line out to short tonight. Six strikeouts, 3 walks, a run on 2 hits. And the runner advances and is in standing. That's Cabrera. That'll be a wild pitch, second one tonight. Got a battle here. Runner in scoring position. 2 outs and a 1-1 count to Jake Elmore. Center field line drive right at Jackson. Felix survives. He's thrilled. He ought to be. Again, the fans implore, get Felix some runs. your mind as you consider how a Washington's lottery win could change your bucket list. Play today. Great to have you on this beautiful Saturday night. The beauty, one of the many beauties of the Pacific Northwest. Here we are at about 9:22 and still some daylight. Love it. Dave Sims, Dave Valiant for Mike Flowers, who's off this weekend, and Steve Geltz takes over for the Rays.
Geltz has appeared in 23 games. ERA at 2.95 over 21 in the third inning. He got 25 punch outs in those innings. Gave up one home run, and opponents are hitting only 162 off the right-hander. First batter he'll face will be Mike Zunino.
Wally Bloomquist RBI single in the fourth for the Mariners. That's their run. A triple by Kevin Kiermaier, and then a wild pitch by Felix scores Kiermaier. The only tallies tonight. And again, how about Kiermaier? We knew he could run. He showed us something. 11 seconds on that triple getting around the bases.
Yeah, he threw it into overdrive as he was heading into second base.
It was impressive. Zunino, Jackson, and Cano as Mark Lowe heats up for the Mariners. He'll be taking over in the eighth. Here's what Colomé did.
Colomé very impressive himself over 6 innings, giving up just 7 hits, 1 run, 1 which was earned, 3 walks and 2 strikeouts.
Off the end of the bat is Zunino. 1-2.
That's been the success of this Tampa Bay team. He finds himself in second place. It's been pitching, quality defense. They do a lot of the little things that keep themselves in the ballgame.
Well, first in defense in the American League, first in ERA, 4th in stolen bases. Strike 3 called. Zunino can't believe it. And there's one away. Offensively, the Rays are 12th in batting average, runs, and 3rd from the bottom in Major League Baseball in runs scored.
Geltz just paints that inside corner right there. Rene Rivera was on the outside part of the plate. Geltz missed inside, but still looked like he caught the inside corner.
Austin Jackson 1 for 3. Got a double into the left field corner, 3rd inning. One. Run on 7 hits for the Mariners. Run on 2 hits for the Rays. Outfield playing straight away for Jackson. 1-1. A little late. Ball and 2 strikes. Tampa Bay tonight 0 for 4 runners in scoring position. The Mariners 2 for 9. It's a Rays ball club too, playing without 3 key players: James Loney, John Jaso, and Desmond Jennings. Loney's their best hitter.
Take a look at their disabled list, and you wonder how they find themselves in second place in the East.
2-2 pitch fouled off. In addition to those 3 we mentioned, infielder Tim Beckham on the DL, lefty pitcher Jeff Beliveau, righty pitcher Alex Cobb, one of their starters. Matt Moore is an outstanding left-handed pitcher. Drew Smiley, Kirby Yates. And that is some roll call.
And they may end up finding themselves with Jake Odorizzi, who had to come out of last night's game.
You bet. 2-2. Couch run full.
I'm sure they're hoping they're not going to have to put him on the disabled list.
I believe that was an oblique last night. Cano's on deck. 0 for 3 tonight. Jackson gets into one, deep to left. Giving up and gone. The Mariners have a 2-1 lead. Austin Jackson with his 3rd home run of the season, 8th RBI. his second hit tonight. Love to see those smiles in that dugout. Mariners have a 2-1 lead. Got it on a 3-2 pitch.
Austin Jackson just jumps all over this fastball from Geltz. Puts a charge into it. That ball went off the staircase over the bullpen of the Tampa Bay base.
Felix appreciates that. That could make him the winner.
Wow, he could have slowed down and admired that one just a little bit more. Alaska Supermo showing that great contact right on the center of the barrel.
1-0 to Cano. There's Cabrera. Throws him out. Cano, 4 groundouts tonight. There's 2 away.
Oh, you got to love that sound, that crack of the bat.
The Jesus barely turned. Felix knew it immediately.
Happiest man in the ballpark right there.
So right now he's in line to get his 9th win. Good to see Austin Jackson swinging a hot bat. For Jackson, his first home run since the 25th of April against Minnesota. Strike 1 to Cruz. He's 1 for 3 with a first inning single. Austin Jackson with a big blow here tonight.
We've seen him have some very good at-bats over the last few days.
Yep.
Tripling the gap to right center last night. Double down the left field line, and that last swing. Wow.
1-1 to Cruz. That hit well left field. DeJesus got to play it on the hop. Base hit. Nelson Cruz with 2 outs. Good power hitter. Is it for a really good average out?
Well, this ball just was shot out of a cannon right here. It almost handcuffs DeJesus out in left field. The ball just centered and squared up. DeJesus having to just hold his ground. Does all he can to get that ball into the leather. Keep it from rolling to the wall. I think it was early in the season. Nelson Cruz hit the hardest ball. It was 119 miles an
Bingo.
hour.
A Sunday
exit speed.
Right. Sunday game winner against Texas to close out that series. This one popped up.
And it was a single to left.
Yes, sir.
Wasn't a home run.
Yeah, had he gotten the air on it, it could have hurt somebody out there. It could have been dangerous. The big blow. Austin Jackson's 3rd home run puts the Mariners in front 2-1 as we go to the 8th. 2-1 ball game thanks to that man Austin Jackson, on fire. 16 for his last 41, 3-game hitting streak. As we take a look at our Columbia Bank difference in the game, Val.
And right here, this ball is ambushed. Full count, gets a fastball in the inner half of the plate and just crushes it off the staircase over the Tampa Bay Rays bullpen. Wow. Austin Jackson putting the Mariners ahead.
Felix Hernandez makes it 5 consecutive games. The starters have been outstanding for the Mariners.
Another quality outing by the Kings. 6 strikeouts over 7 innings, giving up just 2 hits to the Rays. Walking 3. Two of those 3 came in the very first inning. He made some great adjustments towards the middle, became efficient, and gave him the ability to get deep into this game. And he did it all on 106 pitches.
Mark Lowe has simply been sensational. High fly ball right field for Cruz. 1 pitch, 1 out as Franklin's retired. How good has Mark Lowe been? Look at this.
So good. 14 games. He's got an ERA. Look at that. Is that right? 0.61. Yes, it is, folks. 14 strikeouts over those 14 innings. No home runs. And opponents hitting just .216. Great to see this young man come back after having his elbow rebuilt. Came up as a Mariner, got to the big leagues. Great to have him back.
Bounced around with Texas in a World Series, with Cleveland for a while. Way out front is Rene Rivera, who struck out swinging and looking tonight. 1 out here in the 8th. Rivera batting in the 9-hole. He'll be followed by Kevin Kiermaier. Billy Bloomquist gets another opportunity. Throws out Rivera. 2 away on that broken bat ground ball. Kiermaier's next. Mariners fireworks night are always spectacular. And coming up on Friday, June 19th, we're going to have one of our most unique shows yet. It's Star Wars night. And after the game, the Pyrotechnics will be set to the movie's orchestral soundtrack. For your tickets, go to mariners.com. 2 outs, nobody on in the 8th. Another 1-run game between the Rays and the Mariners. Rays won the first 2 games 2-1 and 1-0. There's Kiermaier looking at ball 1. Mariners swept Tampa Bay down in St. Pete the last week of May. Beat him 4-1, 7-6 in 10 innings and 3-0. Two outs and Mark Lowe behind Kiermaier. 3-0.
It's not always easy changing your style of pitching after an injury, but we've seen guys do that. And Mark Lowe is a great example of that. He used to throw 97 miles an hour now. Fastball 93, 94. He's got a little bit more movement on it. Still has a good slider and a change. But your thinking changes a little bit because you can't just rear back and throw the ball past people.
3-1 pitch here to Kiermaier. Line drive, center field. Jackson plays it on the hop. Kiermaier, good speed. He'll slam on the brakes as Jackson recovers quickly. Could be a base hit. And then no doubles defense. Everybody was deep.
Kiermaier hits a sinking line drive out there right in front of Austin Jackson. Gets a little bit too close on the short hop. The ball squirts through his legs. But he's able to recover it quick enough so that Kiermaier, who has good speed, has to stay at first base.
2 outs. Kiermaier plus speed at first. Dangerous hitter here in Joey Butler.
Got a couple of guys warming up down in the Mariner bullpen. Charlie Furbish.
Carson Smith. Kiermaier with 2 stolen bases tonight back in the first inning after he opened up the ballgame with a walk. He Phillies, 4 out of 5 on the season. Breaking ball for a strike. Butler 0 for 1 against Marklow. Big 8th inning spot. 2 outs. Mariners up 2-1. As Austin Jackson, bottom of the 7th, homered, put the Mariners in front. Runner goes, swung on and fouled back.
Good thing that pitch was fouled off, because Kiermaier had a tremendous jump right there on Marklow. With 2 outs, they're going to push the envelope here to try to get somebody into scoring position.
Right. And you can understand, Val, Tampa Bay 27th in baseball runs per ball game at 3.75 per ball game. The Mariners 29th at 3.51. Big pitch here, 0-2 to Butler. Pitch out, nothing doing. Throw another pitch out here.
Yeah, I think he's going to be running. I'm not sure if the M's will do that. Typically, the runner won't run on an 0-2 because as a catcher, you can call a fastball off the plate, so it's kind of a intentional non-pitch out.
1-2.
Take a lead by Kiermaier.
Kiermaier runs, pitch, swung on and missed, struck him out. Mark Lowe comes in and shuts the door in the 8th inning, and it keeps the Mariners in front, 2-1.
Post-game presented by Delta Airlines. I do believe that Austin Jackson is one of the heroes of the game. We'll target him for a walk-off interview, and we'll go inside the clubhouse and hear from manager Lloyd McClendon, as well as tonight's starter Felix Hernandez. And we'll look ahead to the tall task facing the Mariners tomorrow, facing Chris Archer. All of that coming up and more on the post-game show. And Dave Sims, I'm going to say there can be more than one hero, so I'm okay if we add on here.
You get no argument from me.
Or me.
Add-on is a good thing. Depending on, put your favorite insurance company's name in front of it. That's what we're looking for, those kinds of runs. Carson Smith looks like he has been tabbed to pitch the 9th inning.
Fernando Rodney may have the night off as closer.
And Trumbo fouls it back into the glove of Rivera. He strikes out, 1 away. Here in the bottom of the 8th. Second strikeout for Kelts. since the Mariners' last win against Cleveland, 2-1. Taijuan Walker and a beauty in that game. With Felix's performance tonight, that's 5 consecutive strong outings by the starting rotation. Except Smith looks at a strike. Smitty tonight with a double and a run scored in the fourth. He scored on the Willie Bloomquist single. Speed pitch at 83 and Geltz ahead on 2. Tampa Bay will have 3, 4, and 5 in their order coming up in the 9th. Three defenders right side against Smith on the infield. Shift on, so 1 and 2. Geltz on in relief of Alex Colomé. 2-2.
Seth Smith's just one of those guys who seems to see a lot of pitches every at bat.
2-2 pitch. Take it inside for ball 3. Logan Morrison on deck. Almost 3 hits tonight, hitting streak to 13 games. Three and 2 to Smith, 1 out, nobody on. Takes for ball 4. 8th inning base runner. MLB.TV Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service, celebrating 13 years. You can watch every out-of-market game live or on demand in True HD on over 400 devices. Real-time highlights, live look-ins, pitch tracking, and more. Get it every night on every device. Blackout and other restrictions do apply. Visit MLB.TV for details. So the King has departed. He's in line for the win. Youngster looks good. It's King's crown. Dustin Ackley enters the game as a pinch runner for Seth Smith. He'll take over in left field. Here's Logan Morrison. Got to cap off a perfect night. He's 3 for 3. Base hit to right in the second, a base hit to left in the fourth. Then he had a 2-1 pitch, shift on. Third baseman well over the shortstop side. Took his time, laid down a clean bunt.
And Jake Elmore's not way over anymore. Playing almost straight up third base. Just off the cut of the infield.
Jim Hickey, pitching coach, calls time and runs out for a few words for Geltz, 27-year-old from University of Buffalo. It's Kevin Cash, and his first-year manager of the Rays.
Lots of signs being given by Rich Donnelly, the third base coach.
Two-0 pitch to Logan Morrison. Ackley good speed at first. And he's ahead 3-0. I see a green light, Val. How about you?
Oh, absolutely. You might even see Ackley go right here. Geltz with the big high leg kick.
To Lomo. And he takes a strike, 3-1.
Well, Lomo not very happy right there, having some words. EQC tracer shows this ball down. This is clearly a ball right here.
Goodness. Jeez. To compose himself.
Right down the about halfway on his shin bone.
That would have been his 8th consecutive ball, but Johnson Payne didn't think so. Here's a 3-1 to Lomo. Runner goes. Swung on a miss. Throw down to second. It is in time. Got him 2-6.
Rene Rivera showing off a very strong arm. Throws a perfect strike to Asdrubal Cabrera. Dustin Ackley out by a few feet. Alaska Superman giving us a good look right there on the tag.
3-2 to Morrison. 2 out, nobody on. High pop up. De Jesus. And now the drama begins to the 9th inning. A 2-1 Mariner lead. And apparently it's going to be Carson Smith. People have been clamoring for him to get an opportunity to close this game. Tonight's going to be one of them right now. Game losing streak, and congratulations to the crew here at Safeco Field and at Bellevue. Root Sports, Northwest Regional Emmy winner for production on Mariners baseball.
Congratulations, guys. Tremendous job.
So here we go to the 9th. Carson Smith, 0 for 1 career and save opportunities. Being called on tonight with Fernando Rodney in a slump, put it mildly. Carson Smith coming on in lockdown duty, trying to preserve this win for Felix Hernandez. And if he does, it'll be Felix's 9th win here in the early season. First hitter is David De Jesus as Ackley he takes over in left field for Seth Smith. First pitch strike. De Jesus 0 for 2 against Carson Smith.
You love to see the relievers come in and throw that first pitch right over the plate. Put the hitters on their heels, work ahead.
Ball 1. Joe Beimel heating up. Felix does get the win. It'll be a major league best 9 wins. First man to 9 wins this season. 1-1 pitch. Broken bat ground ball. Busy night, Willie Blomquist. Sinker fielded by Logan Morrison. 1 out.
Really doing a nice job over there at shortstop and also getting some help from Logan Morrison all through the night. There's a little slow roller as Blomquist comes in. Again, does that little soft toss over there. Ball's up the line, but Logan Morrison does a nice job of shifting his feet and making the play look easy.
Logan Forsythe, dangerous man last night. Looks at his strike. Forsythe homered last night for the only run of the ballgame off of Fernando Rodney. Forsythe tonight is lined out to short, struck out, grounded out to short. First time seeing Carson Smith. Outfield straight away, pitch. Foul back, 1-2. Austin Jackson, he smote a mighty blow back in the 7th inning. Home run, his 3rd of the year. A big one for Lud McClendon and the Mariners. Ball 2 strikes. Breaking ball struck him out looking. 2 down.
Good slider right there by Carson Smith. Just painting that outside corner. Locking up Forsythe. You just see his backside kind of buckle down. Mike Zunino framing that pitch well right there.
Strike 1. Steven Souza Jr., who's 0 for 3.
Carson Smith has been the first pitch strike to all 3 hitters so far this inning.
31,106 on their feet. Another slider in there for strike 2.
Souza having some words with the home plate umpire, thinking that pitch was a little bit high. EQC tracer showing it just catching the upper right corner.
Everybody up here at Safeco Field. The 0-2 from Carson Smith. Swung on. Playable. Ackley's there. Mariners win it 2-1. Gets his first save. Carson Smith on 10 pitches as it ends the Mariners' 7-game losing streak. Boy, did they need that one.
Got some great jobs and great performance from the King here tonight. And Austin Jackson with the big blow to put the Mariners ahead and ahead for good.
We will take a timeout and come right back to Safeco Field. Mariners win the ball game 2-1 over the Rays and end a 7-game losing streak.